welcome back to Stepmom Talk. Today I wanted to talk about how my life has helped me become a better stepmom. And for some people that might be like, what? But for me, I just want to kind of talk about how my life prepared me and helped me to be a stepmom. First note I'm going to say is really you can be kind of prepared-ish. Every home, every situation is different, and you know, we hate that phrase that people make, so I'm not even gonna make it. Number two, I am the oldest of 6, and we range from 28 to 13, and we all have the same biological parents. Most of the time when you have, you know, it's easily, oh well, that's a big gap. The first 4 of us were born really, really close, and the last 2 were born when I was 13 and 15. So it did kind of look like it could have easily been the first 4 had one dad, the second 2, or the last 2 had a different parent, but actually we all have the same parents. So with that said, that actually helps in itself. I would say I have a very caring, giving, helping personality, and so having younger siblings when I was 13 and 15, like little baby siblings, it taught me a lot. One, I was already working in a preschool, so I wasn't working in a preschool, but I was working at the church, and so I was already familiar with kids, and just, I loved kids. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world that my parents ever did, having 2 little bitty ones. And so, yeah, basically I would say that helped a lot because there was a lot of siblings. There was a big age gap, so it kind of taught me a lot about wait to have babies, and just everything I did, somebody was watching me. And it also taught me to step back and kind of listen to the whole story before putting a judgment in. Also, I had depression and anxiety as a teen and a young adult. I would say, I hate to say I had, because I still feel like I still battle with it. I definitely know it's not as bad as it was. My anxiety as a teenager was ridiculous. I would pretty much always have, like, there were certain days that no matter what, I would have an anxiety attack. There were moments that I was like, wow. I was a very home child, homebody, wanting to be at home. It was hard for me to venture out and do things because I always, I would say it was a little concern. Not fully that I would have an anxiety attack. I just knew that the anxiety attack would come when I was home. Like, I could be in the moment and be fine, but then after I would have it real bad. My mom also has really bad anxiety, and so I definitely see it's like a family trait with us. But having that, I saw the warning signs, and I see the warning signs in others, and it's become a very great concern of mine that those symptoms are helped and they are able to cope with the depression and the anxiety while they're young versus being a young adult or a middle-aged adult just then trying to handle it or figure out what to do. And I would say I'm a huge advocate that, like, if I start seeing warning signs, you know, whatever it is, you know, let's get them into counseling, or let's do what we have to do to help them in the long run. And it's been huge. And I would say my life from a teenager and having those anxiety attacks and being depressed to my life now is completely different. And that was something I had to learn to cope with, how to deal with. I'll make a separate video on that. Let's see. I have to say, when I started with going off of the last one, I started working with counselors, and counselors taught me how to breathe and how to do self-talk, and just really helped me know that I wasn't alone. And so because of that, I feel like those counselors helped me to be able to listen more, and they helped me to be more patient. You know, my stepkids would probably say, yeah, yell at me, da da da. Let's just say I yell a lot less than I used to. And I came from a very loud household, and actually one thing I did, was I actually did raise my voice as if I was yelling. And I was just saying, if you want to hear me yell, I'll yell. And I yelled. And I said, that is yelling. I said, me talking to you is me talking to you sternly. But I don't like yelling. But that's something that has taught me a lot of patience. So it's like, well, if you'd have known me way back when, you would have known. I've also, from growing up, from being a teen that dealt with a lot of anxiety into my early adulthood, and I'm still there, but those first like 21, 22, 23, up until really probably 20, probably this year, I've learned to find my voice. I've learned to say, this is not okay. This is okay with me. I don't like this. And it's a struggle. I will admit it is a huge struggle, because when you're looking at life, when you're looking at things, sometimes it's easier to just kind of let it go until you get so annoyed you just like explode. And I've learned that just because it's always been that way, it doesn't always have to continue to be that way. And so there are some things that have been changing. I have learned that I can lean on my faith more, and I feel more comfortable talking about it. Now, it's not perfect, but I feel like I don't have to, you know, people are going to judge and people are going to do what they want, but it's not necessarily, do I have to worry about how they feel about it? It's like, okay. For instance, you know, different things like how I pray, who I am. Somebody, maybe family member or non-family member or friend, may make a joke, and I don't take the joke very funny, or just may not be comfortable, and instead of being like, okay, and letting go, or that kind of closed me in so I didn't talk about it anymore, I'm like, you do you, and I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna talk about it. I have to say this kind of went along with the depression. I think the depression and anxiety really challenged and shaped me differently, and it shapes everybody differently. I went through a really hard time in my life where I was losing a lot of people that meant a lot to me, and they didn't necessarily all mean something to some other person, whether it was in my family or another friend. They didn't seem to get it, and because of that, because of those losses, I definitely say that it shaped my life. Even with depression, anxiety, and people say it's a choice to be happy. I can agree with that to an extent, and then I would say you have to mentally get your brain there. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna be happy today, and the depression's all gone and the anxiety's gone and you're fine. You have to get yourself there. You have to. And I know for me, to find the good in the day, sometimes I would just write it down, and I would just say, I breathed today, I woke up today, I was able to take a 5-hour nap today, because I had gone through such a stressful time in my life, and sad time, that it's almost like, am I ever going to get back out of this? Am I ever going to be happy? And so nowadays, I do my very best to find the good in the day. Even when the day is going to crap and you nearly fall out of the car and you can't find your stuff for work and you're hungry and you're late for work and you're just so stressed out, I try to find the good in the day. I also try to smile. I love to smile. I love to laugh. And so if I can make somebody laugh or smile, even on my worst day, that means, no, check. My day is done. I have done exactly what I set out to do, which was make somebody smile, somebody receive a smile, or make somebody laugh. Then I've done it. And I definitely say that that's where I'm at in my life. And I will also say that I will laugh through the fear. And that's how I've learned to cope. I also decided that I would not, I feel like I should just like put this in another video. But as this kind of goes on still with that, is having a parent with anxiety issues does limit your childhood. I have no qualms about saying that. It does limit your children's childhood, because whether it's a fear of driving, it's a fear of doing something new, it's a fear of, oh, I might have an anxiety attack being out and about. That's where I don't even remember how old I was. I was just like, I'm not letting that anxiety and the fear of anxiety stop me from living the best life. And also stop my siblings from living the best life. And you can rotate that into being a step parent. Being a step parent, you cannot let the fears control you. You cannot let, oh, well, your bi-weekly schedule your life. You cannot let your weekend schedule your life. You have to continue to move on. You have to continue to do things. They're doing stuff at the other parent's house, then you're going to do stuff at your house. Like, you cannot let it limit you and your life. And that is still a struggle today on, do we do something this weekend because we don't have the kids, or do we just only do stuff for, oh, let's just do that on Friday instead of doing some. So it can and it does affect your life. I also have to say this, as a child, I was like super quiet until I really got to know you. But then even when there was any conflict or whatever, I like, or someone said, this is what's going to happen and that's it, and you didn't really get a choice, I would like clam down. I would definitely say that that has changed. I'm a lot more talkative. I try my best to listen the best that I can, to see kind of everybody's side of it. Give advice when I feel it's needed. Sometimes it doesn't go over well, but I try. And I feel like becoming that, picking, this is not okay with me, this is okay with me, being more myself and letting myself come out, that I've learned in all of it that it was the best decision for me. And I can speak up and I can say, oh, and then also seeing when somebody else isn't speaking up when they need to. Sometimes I still miss that. Sometimes I think everything is peachy and it's not, but I try. And honestly, being myself, the world has their idea of what perfect is and what you should do and what you shouldn't do and how you should act and how you shouldn't act. Be yourself. You're not the kid's actual mom. You're not his ex. You're not their grandparents. You're not their aunt and uncle. You're you. It doesn't matter what the world thinks you should do. Well, you should do this. Well, you're overstepping. Well, you're not doing enough. You have to do you. You have to be you. God gave you this personality and this life for a reason. And sometimes I still question why I'm here. But this is our life. And this is your life. And be you. Don't worry about, oh, like your spouse married you or met you as you before you knew he had kids, or the opposite, before you knew she had kids. You have to do what works for you, and you have to find you, because you can easily get lost in them that you forget who you are. And so my big thing is continuing to stay true to me. Have I changed? Absolutely. I went from could do whatever I wanted whenever I wanted to, well, the kids need to be in bed by this time, or I need to make sure that kid eats, or, so my life has changed in that respect. I don't party or anything, never really did, but at the same time, my personality is my personality. So if I'm joking, I'm joking. If you don't get the joke, you need to say something and say, I don't get the joke, man. Like, hello. But honestly, the best thing you can do for your family is be you. Because if you lose you and you just kind of become a robot, then what good is that? And I would say, whether that's being a sibling and trying to meet the expectations of my parents, or what I thought was expectations of my parents, or being a stepmom and then, that manipulation. Well, she never does this, or she never does that, or you do this, or you yell, or da-da-da. Like, really? And I think at first I was trying to clone into what they expected, what I felt they needed, and I'm gonna tell you right now, that blew up in my face. And it was like, no, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be silly. If I want to dance in the store, I'm gonna dance in the store. If I want to bust out with something, I'm gonna bust out with it. I'm gonna make a joke, I'm gonna make a joke. If I do raise my voice, I'm gonna raise my voice, and I'm not gonna feel bad for it. Do I raise my voice a lot? No, but I'm going to when I need the point to be made, or it to come across that. I mean, business, kids. It is. And that's the big thing. I can't lose my personality because of kids and, well, I want this, well, da da da. I'm not your mama. Hello. My name is Megan, and I'm not your birth parent. I got my own personality, and I'd like to say I'm kind of cool. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. These were pretty much the top 10 things, ways that my life has helped me to become a stepmom. Hope you understood all of those, and yeah. You could even say those were the top 10 things that made me a better person, or made me who I am today. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you next time.